What's up, gang? Those parts right there on the floor are bad news, right? Yep. Something broke in the rear end, or something happened. I wasn't doing anything. I just, actually had some overheating problems. It didn't actually ever boil over, and I changed a few things, and let it idle here for a little while, and everything looked good, and I took it for a ride, and I probably went 2 or 3 miles, and I got out on the highway. I was probably doing about 55, 60, and all of a sudden I felt like a slight jerk to the right. And it wasn't a big enough jerk to where I could shift lanes or pull me out of my lane, but it was something that I didn't feel before. So I let off the gas, and I'm in the left lane. I'm in the fast lane, and traffic was catching up, so I went to go move over and get in the right lane. So I hit the gas again, and I felt the same jerk that pulled to my right. But when I did that, there was no acceleration. There was no momentum to move me forward other than me already rolling. So I found an opening in traffic, and I pulled over. And I came to a stop. And when I came to a stop, I put the car in park. And when I did that, you could hear the parking pawl and the transmission tick, 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 and finally it stopped. So that told me that the transmission and the drive shaft was still spinning, but I didn't have something was going on with the rear. I had this carrier here, this what I always believed would be a Ford track lock, but it's a Ford. The carriers, the posi traction or the limited slip differentials that they made before the track locks. It's called an Equi-Lock or Equal Lock or something like that. Same concept, just a little bit different design on the inside. I had that rebuilt. The clutches, they're so-so. I mean, they're not like completely wiped away, but there's wear on them, but it's not like it's major wear. I drained all the oil out of the rear end, and it looked like metallic paint. I mean, it was pretty glittery. So my first thought was that the carrier went out. Something in the carrier's like let loose. I get the car back here. I call a tow truck. Get the car back here, and I get it up on the jack stands like it is now. And I go to see what wheel I can spin while the car's in park. This side, past the driver's side, was I couldn't move it, and that is the side with the clutches. The clutches are up in the short section, and the spider gears are down in this section. So the clutches, I couldn't move the driver's side tire. I go over to the passenger side tire, and the tire spins freely, and you can hear a little bit of rubbing, like a little bit of grinding, but not. You can more so feel it in the tire when you're spinning it than you can hear it. So I figured something was going on with that axle, which, if these clutches failed, this rear end should have acted like the rear end that just got the one power to the right tire. You know, people doing burnouts and peeling out with one tire. It should have acted like that if the clutches failed. So I pulled that axle out. And I immediately then, when I felt that, I'm like, oh, the splines are gone off the end of it. And as I pull it out, right now I really don't remember which axle was in which side. But my center is centered. It's not an offset rear end, so it's centered. But my axles are different length. I don't remember which one goes in which, but you can see that there's obviously a different length on there. So the first thing I did was like, man, these splines are wiped off, but that's not the case. So I was thinking, well, maybe the axle's not engaged all the way. So I took a longer axle. Might have been that one that's standing up right there. I took that axle and I shoved it down in there, and it did the exact same thing. So that started making me feel that it was inside the rear end. But again, that goes down into the spider gears. So I pulled everything apart, and I opened this thing up. And let me see if I can. I got a plastic and rubber glove over here somewhere. I don't want to get too involved in it, but and here's your spring band for the which it goes. It goes there. This goes there. And all these are my clutches. See, they don't look real bad, but there are some wear on them. There's a lot of wear on that metal band there. You can see the outside edge of that one is worn. But anyhow, they all go down on there, and my spider gears look okay. And they turn. Something's binding right there. Maybe I'm pushing off center or something. I don't know. I can't get it with one hand. I swore I had that thing spinning earlier. But anyhow, I put the axle in here, and everything works. It spins. See, it's engaged. Something is stopping it there, but something stopping it wasn't my issue. It was. So it goes all the way down on there, and those spider gears go to the driver's or passenger side. So if the ring gear, let me put this back together. This ring gear bolts to the back side of here that runs on that pinion. So if that pinion is spinning and it's running that ring gear and forcing this carrier around in circles, is it possible as this piece is forced around in circles, this shaft is in there being forced around also? Is it possible for these spider gears right here to spin and allow this axle to sit still? This thing's going around in circles, and then this thing would spin too. If you held the tire and not let it spin, these gears would spin also, which would allow this gear to sit still while this outside carrier spun around circles, if that makes sense. So I'm trying to figure out how this whole assembly works and what happened to my rear end. So as I'm doing all that, I'm like, well, maybe, I don't remember the wheel sticking out too far, like maybe the axle got moved out and out of the splines. I don't remember the wheels sticking out so far. But these flanges, they were bolted really snug and tight with the the brake hub. So I started looking at it some more, and I see this. See how that bearing's moved up? That one's not. Maybe that's the issue. But I stuck a longer axle in there, and it did the same issue that I had when I was going on the road. And also, with this carrier together, inside the center section, when it was outside the car, I stuck the axles in it, and everything worked fine. So I don't know. I don't know where I'm standing. I don't know. I gotta try to figure out which axle went on which side. And if that axle is on the passenger side, then that bearing, maybe that's an issue. But then again, I stuck the longer axle in there, so I don't know. Anyhow, this video is getting pretty long, and I got things to do, so I'll speak with you guys later. And if you got any idea of what's going on, let me know. Thanks, guys.